Chapter 22 Awakening of Kundalini Power through Breath and Prana. To understand the awakening of Kundalini, overall perception of breath and pranas is required. There are 5 types of elemental prana in a human body. As the air or pavan by the process of breathing goes through the nostrils inside the human system, it gets converted into shavas or breath at the Visuddhi chakra. This breath, after taking the energy from the soul at the Dahara chakra, is converted into prana. However, only a part of the breath is transformed into prana. This prana is further transformed to samana, vayana, apana, and udana prana. By the close interaction and impact of various pranas, Udana Prana is formed. It has maximum of sky content, and only this prana can ascend through chakras. It is transformed into the divine light after perfect or partial purification in the different chakras of the human system before it reaches at the Ajna chakra. Udana Prana is the Brahman or divine. On the contrary, other pranas are manifestation of Maya or illusion for the Jivatma. They contain more percentage of earth, water, fire and air contents. Only Udana Prana is full of ether. It can take skyness path for mergence with supernal after transformation in divine light on the ascending path through various chakras. Basically, by the yoga practices and self-efforts, Udana Prana is generated in the human system. There are 2 processes. First is by Puraka, Rechaka, and Kumbhaka practices of controlled breathing processes of yoga. By such breathing transformation of Udana Prana takes place from the existing pranas. Second process is by 2 pranas, namely prana and vayana, like Pandavas being on upper side above the navel in the human system, whereas samana and apana like Kauravas being on the lower side below the navel center. The close interaction and impact of these pranas, like the Kurukshetra war, leads to generate the light out of their mutual rubbing, and thus Udana Prana is generated. Practically, to generate the Udana Prana, one must breathe through the stomach. Concentrating on navel center, gradually with time one will get sensation of Udana Prana. However, this will be achieved by divine practices besides the blessings of God. This generated divine light is named as Udana Prana, that is life force. On the other hand, as Kauravas and Pandavas are born by supreme will of Lord Krishna, so other 4 prana except Udana Prana are born by the soul light existing at the Dahara or Anhata chakra. Also, Udana Prana or light is the outcome or effect of interaction of these pranas. However, the basic cause of appearance of Udana Prana is the soul, residing in the human system. The close interaction of these pranas separates Udana Prana automatically. This function is independent by itself as the outcome of the close actionless action of the different pranas. This Udana Prana, immediately after its appearance, interacts with Swadhisthana chakra, being nearest to navel center. Also by the warmth, fire or Agni effects of Manipura, which is the closed chakra of Swadhisthana, Udana Prana is purified and absorbed by the awareness of fire or Agni. Thus, the flame of fire containing Udana Prana spreads all around and interacts with Muladhara chakra, being closest to Manipura and Swadhisthana. The Kundalini power, lying as 3.5 inches coiled in coccyx near Muladhara, in a samadhi state, is then awakened by the heat and light of Udana Prana. The Kundalini power lies in transcended and dormant state under the effect of Maya or illusion until and unless it is pushed by the force of the Udana Prana. As it is pushed, it rises like a snake, which was resting in 3.5 inches, turns coils from cookings under Muladhara, and then goes to Manipura chakra through the Swadhisthana along with the light or energy of Udana Prana. In this chakra, under the effect of water of Swadhisthhanam, Kundalini power tends to become sattvic. It gets purified like money or diamond and cools down. Further, Kundalini power along with Udana Prana, life force that got converted partially into the divine light, ascends to Dahara chakra. The interaction of ascending energy at the Dahara and Manipura chakras continue gradually, and finally the divine light of Udana Prana and Kundalini is absorbed by the soul residing at Dahara. As a pure soul light from Dahara chakra, this energy ascends to Visuddhi and Lambika chakras. Residual prana remaining with this energy loses its pranic function at Visuddhi chakra. Other ingredients of light, that is yellow, blue, red, etc., are filtered in the Lambika chakra, and purest of the pure divine light ascends to the Ajna chakra. Here there is no Udana Prana, no Kundalini, and no other gradients remain. All are merged in oneness in the pure divine light of the soul. No duality remains here. All duality is disappeared. If soul has carried along with it jiva, that is, as jivatma or personalized soul, then there are chances of mental vision and memories at the Ajna chakra due to the presence of jiva or living being. Since there is not only the exclusive light of the Atma or soul, it means jiva as jivatma has ascended to this location along with the pure soul, that is Atma, from the Dahara chakra. If there is pure soul, then the Atman Sakshatkara, that is self-realization, is possible at this location since it is the stage of the opening of third eye. However, self-realization gradually starts manifesting or reflecting in the sadhaka's awareness with time if this practice is continued for years under the blessings of Master. And then one can transcend time and space and take step into being. Under these conditions, breath is very feeble and suspended. It can be said that breath exists as life force and moves up and down through spinal cord. However, total disappearance of breath occurs in those moments when one is fully beyond time and space. From the Ajna chakra, light spreads in the Chidaksha, Gagana, and Sadhaka experiences awakening, dream, deep slumbering, Sushupati, and then Turiya, Trancentence, Sandhya states. In presence of the Jiva, there prevails superfine awareness, but if Jiva is separated and only soul or Atma ascends, then there does not remain any awareness. It is called the Turiya state or transcendental state. Then state of Turiyatita, that is mergence with supernal, is unknowingly experienced. This is the highest achievement of human life. There is nothing beyond this. Turiya is the blissful state. However, illusion or maya of bliss is different than that of the blissful state. In this blissful state, there is no ego, no kundalini, no prana, no jiva, and only there is the presence of pure soul that gives the divine light. So, blissful state is a state of mergence of pure light with supernal. Only at this stage, soul is liberated. No function is required to be performed in this stage. It is the state of Turiyatita, which is beyond Turiya or transcendence state. No one can describe this state. If one can describe and say, it means he was in maya or illusion and not in mergence, in Turiyatita and in blissful state. Here in this stage, the conscious transforms into unconsciousness or consciousless, and no one can describe what happened. It is beyond time and space. Universal consciousness and human consciousness merge with discontinuities in non-local pattern, separateness disappears. This is the state when a human being becomes godlike. He and he become the same. However, consciousness is manifested when it comes back to the usual conscious state from this unconscious, consciousless state with divine healing energy, which enhances longevity and well-being. The above clarifies the role of breath, pranas, Kundalini, Jivatma, Jiva and soul in subtle manner in the spiritual evolution of a sadhaka or spiritual aspirant. Furthermore, before a sadhaka takes up the practices of yoga, all the chakras in his system are closed and sealed. Every chakra has its original characteristics. When the chakras are blossomed by the passage of Kundalini power and Udana Prana, specific dormant tendencies of a sadhaka awake in the process. As the Kundalini power, in the subtle stage of samadhi resting in the cookings at Muladhara region, as the 3.5-inch coil awakens by the immense pressure of Udana Prana and its heat energy, it then tries to pierce through Muladhara chakra and gradually ascends through Swadhisthana chakra. The entire earthbound concealed tendencies become active in the mind of a beginner sadhaka. Earthbound tendencies like sex, procreation, attraction for varieties of tasty food, greed, anger, pride and attachments etc. manifest to the highest level depending on the potentiality of the tendencies. Sometimes sadhaka is not able to control the manifested urge that forces him to indulge in these activities through the lowest possible level. He becomes deha, abhimani, proud of physical body, and profoundly gets attached with these instinctual desires to fulfill them. But gradually, if he continues his sadhana or spiritual practices, these tendencies die down, and sadhaka gets further purified as the Udana Prana passes under the fire of Manipura and Swadhisthana chakras and approaches to the higher chakras. However, this stage of initial evolution is very dangerous and one can become prey of negative tendencies for a long time till their effect is subsided with time. One has to be much disciplined in thoughts, words, and deeds in life. Moreover, he needs to lead a pious life with full awareness. Being in awareness, effect of negative tendencies gets dissolved. Furthermore, to overcome negative tendencies, transformation of physical body vibration can be modulated by proper breathing process to enhance evolution. Breath plays a very significant role to dilute the negative mental tendencies as one passes through the evolution stage. As the time passes, and if the sadhaka or spiritual aspirant continues his sadhana with sincerity, he may become the master of 8 siddhis of yoga that make him Mahatma, the great soul with time for the external world. Inside, his Jivatma gets purified and he passes comfortably from the 4 stages of evolution, that is, he may transcend easily wakeful stage, dream, Sushupati and Turiya or transcendental state, and finally he may step into Savikalpa to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He becomes one with the divine light in the Turiya state before mergence with the supernal. In the process of evolution, he becomes Sthita Praganya. He gets evolved more in divine activities that project his inherent talents, but his talents do not show his egoism of any kind. On the contrary, in the initial stages of evolution, when energies are mostly concentrated in Muladhara and Swadhisthanam, he has mixed instinct and free nature. His consciousness is also mixed, depending on the mental tendency and variable mixed ideas in his consciousness. The decisions he takes of life may prove to be self-contradictory with time. At this stage, he is more under the effect of Maya, the illusion, his nature will be very transient. His nature may be tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. His behavior is unpredictable even for himself in the initial stages. His actions may not show consistency, since all his actions are governed by the invoked tendencies in the lower chakras. He may himself be surprised for his own behavior sometimes being sattvic and sometimes highly tamasic. This is because of the transient stage of evolution. Sometimes such a beginner aspirant talks of himself and may talk futile. His actions cannot be predicted unless his Udana Prana stabilizes in the Manipura and the Hara chakras. In the beginning, he is Kama Sadhaka and follows subtle ego path. He concurs to the fellow beings with prejudices and raga to fulfill his own worldly desires. But gradually, as he ascends in the path of spirituality, he becomes desireless. He becomes Nishkama Sadhaka. Furthermore, as he enjoys to be with himself and to be near to his soul as much as possible, then his action supersedes cause and effect. He gets fused in himself as if two different qualities of milks are mixed together, which then cannot be separated. Thus, he supersedes his bad desires, and even he does not show or project any caliber which he possesses. He gradually becomes sober, mindfulness, and awakens all the time. As he climbs up in the path of vertical journey, he needs to control his mind by dhyana. Tranquil breath needs to be generated, and regulated breath needs to be observed. Also, witnessing of the breath is to be practiced. He is neither to negate his own mind and nor to provoke it. By this, his mind becomes strong. Furthermore, gradually he trains his mind with positive thoughts and follows philosophy of the art of correct living and dealings. He trains his mind to explain that desires of any kind is futile. Death waits at the doorstep, which gives him perfect peace. He expands awareness to infuse detachment. He contemplates on the satisfaction and dissatisfaction. He thanks God for all his mercy on him. By this way, if mind is trained, it becomes one-pointed, and this is all needed for prelude to dhyana for the forward vertical journey, so that ego, subconscious, and desires do not become obstacles in the path of spiritual evolution. Thus, a sadhaka in the path of evolution at the Swadhisthana and Muladhara can train his mind initially so that ego gets dissolved and attitudes towards desires becomes nullified and their futility is understood, so that onward journey becomes natural throughout till the mergence take place. In short, miseries during initial evolution are natural under the effect of Maya and latent tendencies. Jnana or knowledge is required to develop the conscious attitude so that the problems are tolerated as the natural phenomenon. Grace of Almighty does help to the real sadhakas in this path. Prayers are the divine boon to the sadhakas to come out from such obstacles, which is the best possible way to take up this onward journey for mergence with the supernal and to be beyond time and space. Breath is the selfless companion under all conditions. Anytime one turns his consciousness towards his breath, he will be in touch with miraculous powers to assist him to take his divine journey. To be with the breath is like to be in being.